best scientific estimate of how many people were on the earth alive at that particular time.
Ah.
So there is a different Hindu god for every human. Well, there's a bunch more too, but so now instead of 333 million gods, we've got something like 6 billion. The major ones that you hear talked about are Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiva, the destroyer or the transcender. And their feminine counterpoints, Saraswati, the creatrix, and the goddess of creativity, Lakshmi, the goddess of good fortune, therefore sustenance, and Shakti, the goddess of power. Shakti's forms are myriad. Mother Kali is one. Grin.
Oh yes, I like Mother Kali.
Yes, Mother Kali is wonderful. She's quite fearsome. If she ever appears, you're supposed to look at her eyes, because her eyes are the soul of compassion. The rest of her is rather terrible. She's the lovely blue-black color of a rotting corpse. She has a string of severed heads that she wears for a necklace, like so. She has a skirt made out of severed arms and hands. And she's dripping blood and all of that. What the Hindu gods are is a philosophical treatise made for an illiterate population. All of these things are symbolic. Nobody expects the goddess to actually look like that. Although sometimes people have visions of that goddess, and that's what she looks like. But the real basic entity is always the Supreme Brahman, which is neither male nor female. And it is that which is beyond, which no one can understand, comprehend, or describe. The closest word that describes it is the immensity. And the immensity is the divine ground, the ground of being. And if you're an Advaitin, it's the only thing that truly exists. If you're a Dvaitin, Advaita means no division, Dvaita means divided or dualistic. If you are of a dualistic philosophy, then you feel that the Supreme Brahman or the immensity is beyond, and we can never quite aspire to that. We're always separate in some way. And Advaitin feels that since that's the only thing that truly exists, when the illusion goes away, that's the only thing that's left. So the Western idea of a god, the Hindu would say, oh yes, we have a god. It's called Ishvara. And it is the first individuation of the Supreme Brahman. But it's not the Supreme Brahman.
Aha.
And then Ishvara divides itself into two and becomes Ardhanasvara, which is a being female on the left side of the body and male on the right side of the body. And then and that being's nature is pure lust. And when you say pure lust in English, it sounds like a really kinky thing.
Yes.
But in Sanskrit, the accent is on the pure. It's pure lust. It is the desire for expression, the desire for creation to happen. So as the Ardhanasvara dances with itself, it pulls more and more apart until it turns into Shiva and Shakti. And then they dance together. In Taoism, they say Tao which is like the Supreme Brahman. It is not translatable. It's not definable. Tao creates the one creates the two, and the two create the 10,000 things. Sometimes they put the 3 and the 7 in there, but not always. So then there are stories of Brahma, the creator, which is different than the Supreme Brahman. There's a whole bunch of words that sound awful like to Western ears. There's the Supreme Brahman. There is Brahma, the creator god. There's the Brahma bull, and there's the Brahman caste, which is the priestly caste. And, it gets very complicated if you let it, but really it's simpler than that.
It's always simpler than
It's
that.
always simpler.
So, in other words, really when we're talking about all of these multiple deities, we could talk about guardian angels.
Oh yeah, the deities are guardian angels, they are angels, archangels, powers, principalities, and crowns. Exactly the same feeling to all of these things, as in all of the other religions and things. In the Middle East right now, there's trouble. Some people say Allah is supreme. Some people say Yahweh is supreme. Some people say God is supreme. But they don't understand it's all the same person.
Yes. Yahweh means the one.
Yeah.
Allah means the one. This is the basic translation. And in fact, I think what a lot of people are forgetting is that Islam and Judaism, and thus Christianity, actually claim common prophets or teachers.
Common prophets, common scriptures. Yeah, they're from the Hindu point of view, they're one religion. Mm-hmm. And also, as from the Sanatana Dharma position, they're all Hinduism. They're all Sanatana Dharma. They're all the eternal way. None of them is better than another. None of them is worse than another. They're all the perfect way for the people that are doing that. And that's one reason why I, who was raised in a rather fundamentalist Christian neighborhood, turned into a Hindu. Because it made total sense to me that we're all human, and we're all in this together, as I used to put it, as my grandmother put it too. She was a Celtic traditional. The Wiccan way, too, is a piece of the same thing. As a matter of fact, many of the Celtic deities, including Kali, have the same name and many of the same words in the philosophical system in the Old Gaelic and Celtic languages as are in Sanskrit to this day.
So, in reality, we are looking back at what are basically common origins that have gone in different directions as we have peopled the earth.
Yeah. And a lot of them lead back to the common origin of whenever and wherever it was. But these same ideas pop up in all different cultures. You can look at the Hindu deities, and you can find a corresponding deity for all of the major ones in the Hawaiian deities. Kane, the head god of the Hawaiians, has all of the same attributes, or most of them, as Shiva. Ku, it even has the same name as Kumara, which is Shiva's son. Rono, or Lono, has the same attributes as Ganesha, the elephant-headed god. And then the individual being, which the Hindus call by different names, but Purusha is one of them, is the human who has